Hello and welcome to The Pulse. I am joined by Savage Dan and Pat Nevin. And we've got Terran Amos as well, our overseas fan who's joining us as well. Terran, I can see you've got a bit of grub on the go, mate. What food are you tucking into?
So this morning we had some eggs, bacon. They made some toast for us. Feeling like I'm missing one thing that they had for us. So it was good, though. It was good to eat and enjoy the game. Well, I didn't really enjoy it.
Well,
so bad.
I was going to say, yeah, we're going to start on that, mate. Obviously, far from ideal, but Manchester City do that for teams quite a lot, don't they? They have that suffocating factor where they can do that. But they're a good side. Things like this happen, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we just looked to lack a whole lot of energy today. It was weird. I know we spoke on our midfield earlier today, like being very good and seeming like we had one of the best midfields in the world, and it just was not there. And that just lacked so much energy. Everybody in the bar, we were talking about like how bad it looked in midfield, and we couldn't figure it out. So that was just frustrating to see after all the hype that we put around in pregame.
Yeah, I suppose frustration is the right thing, Pat, isn't it? But that is the difficulty when you play Manchester City. Like Ben said in commentary, you play City 3 times last year under Thomas Tuchel, you win all 3. There is going to come a time where they do get the better of you, and unfortunately today was that day.
Yeah, Pep had a good day today as well. He did a couple of things. Terran was interested to know. I mean, I was actually inside the game and high up, so I can see the tactically and technically why it happened. And well done, Pep, because he did something I didn't expect him to do. And what he did was he went 2v2 at the back. And when you go 2v2 at the back, they can flood the midfield, they win the midfield. That's why our midfield was overrun. That and the fact that I'm not sure N'Golo was fit. I'm not sure he was a long, long way away from the N'Golo we're used to. And I can only see that that's not him 100% fit. But who else is going to be brave enough to do that against us? Who else is going to go 2v2 against Lukaku and Werner, or Lukaku, and Kai Havertz? I don't think anyone. I think that's Man City. So, yeah, we lose it today. When we changed it back to the 3-4-3, we looked a bit better, much better. But don't panic. Absolutely don't panic about that.
No, you're absolutely right. And again, Dan, there is a little bit of it. We're sitting here talking about playing the team to beat still, champions of the Premier League, team that's won 4 of the last 5, something along those lines. Pep Guardiola, one of the best tactical minds in the business. They've got a brilliant side, and the goal itself is a deflected effort that probably goes straight down Mendy's throat if it doesn't take the deflection. Other than that, there wasn't a huge amount that separated us. They might have had a lot more on the ball in the first half, but there wasn't a huge amount that
yeah, I mean, especially up to the goal, it was barely nothing. There was not much in it. The goal came because we were really deep, a couple of stray balls in midfield, and before you know it, they're literally at the gates, and eventually, a deflection went in. But 3-5-2, I think on paper sometimes looks attacking, but it's definitely a more defensive shape. Maybe we overthought it today, rather than Pep. And obviously Pat said that they've basically left two on two at the back. It means that their fullbacks can fly off when they want to. It means that they get the midfield battle. And it did get better, and we had to kind of take a couple of risks, but that's it. It's a loss, but hopefully it kind of refreshes us and makes us kind of focus. And we've got a good run of games ahead of us.
Completely, Pat. You've inspired our hashtag, our match hashtag for today, which is don't panic.
Don't panic, yes.
It's true. We spoke about this run of games beforehand, didn't we? We spoke about this run of games a couple of weeks ago. We've got a start of the season with Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester City, and then Juventus, we still got to play in the week. But you look at that run of games, if you'd have offered, I think, even the most optimistic Chelsea fan out of all of that, said you're going to get one player sent off in one game, but you're only going to concede 2 goals in that time, and you're going to lose one of those games, but the rest of them, you'll look impressive in all of them. Probably would have taken it.
Yeah, you just have to sit back sometimes, stand back sometimes. You'll see going down the side of the screen that our run of games coming up is fantastic. It's something that we can really move on. Honestly, don't panic also about the system. That system will work for us, very much so, against just about anyone else. So that's another thing that we don't panic about, as Douglas Adams famously said in the front of his book. But I'm disappointed. I hate losing. We all hate it. We don't like it, and particularly here at Stamford Bridge, we don't lose many games, right? But we didn't get hammered. We didn't give too many chances away. And by the way, when we adapted it, it changed it and we got better. So, you know, and with a fair win, we could have maybe sneaked a point out of it. It's a long old season. It's nothing more than a little marker down, but it's only a little marker. It's nothing more than that. And I'm looking at it at the moment, I think there are a number of chances. Maybe at half-time we might have thought, maybe Kai coming on for Timo because the ball might have stuck a little bit better and we could have used that system better. But there's so many ifs and buts. There was nothing in it today. I think I felt quite proud of our defenders. They worked so hard. And by the way, talk about Mendy didn't have too much to do, but it was that little flick save with his left hand round the corner. Oh wow, what a good save that was. So, you know, down but certainly not out.
No, absolutely right. Let's have a little look at some social media reaction to the tactics that were employed today. The boys tried, especially in the second half after City scoring. We showed the hunger, couldn't convert. It was decent. It was a decent go down. Let's take the rest and prepare for more intensive games. And we've got another one here. It's a horrible first half. Second half was better. We lacked creativity. Positive was that Ruben Loftus-Cheek looked really good again, and Mendy saved us from losing 3 or 4-0. Again, I think the 3 or 4-0. I'm not quite sure I wholeheartedly agree on that. I don't think there were 3 or 4 clear-cut chances in that. But the Ruben point's a great one, Terran, because he looked brilliant in the week, and I suppose that the big conversation amongst Chelsea fans has always been about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Where does he fit into a system? You know, a lot of the time we were looking at him as one of the 10s. In the deeper role that he come on today, again, he looks so good, and it plays to his strengths, which is picking the ball up, rolling past players, and stretching defences. I thought he was brilliant when he came on. Terence, sorry, mate. Just your thoughts on Ruben Loftus-Cheek?
I couldn't tell. Ruben is one of my favorite players. I've been a fan of his for years now. Most of the supporters inside will tell you that I've been harping and hoping that he would get an opportunity this year, and I agree. He looked very good during the midweek. I thought maybe he could have come on a little bit earlier in this game when we looked a little pressed back, just to break the lines a little bit better for us. So I'm hoping maybe going forward, if we see ourselves in a similar position like this, that if we're playing someone who just happens to put us back, we can bring him on. Maybe when Saul gets fit, we have those 2 options in there to kind of break the lines, get us going forward, and maybe play those early balls in behind that. If we had it looked earlier, playing some of them into Timo earlier, it would continue to look good. So I'm hoping that continues to be a good trend for us.
Completely agree. Let's have a little look at the game on social then today. And it started pre-match with a lot of optimism, rightly so. You know, it always does. You know, Chelsea's back when rivals can't stop talking about how our team sets up, play with all 11 hanging off the crossbar, and I wouldn't care as long as we're winning games. It's very true, isn't it? It's very, very true. And I do enjoy that. He's right, though, isn't he, in terms of that, Dan? You know, because the setup has a lot of people asking questions. The way we set up today was very different to how we set up a week ago, you know, and it's probably going to be very different to the way we set up at Juventus in midweek and how we set up next Saturday against Southampton. So when you have that flexibility within your team and the range to be able to adapt to games, you keep other teams questioning. We're questioning here what the lineup is or what the players are going to be. So you don't worry about that because, like Pat said, you don't panic because that system will come right. Maybe just didn't work today. Yeah,
it just didn't work today. And there were flashes of it in the first half, even where 3-5-2 could have worked, where we kind of drew them in when they were pressing and then went on over the top of them straight to Lukaku. And the passes didn't quite connect, but we were threatening. But we've got the personnel to play pretty much any system. We could play 4 at the back. We can go 3-4-3. We can go 3-5-2. We've got the personnel to do it. It's just about drilling all these systems into players, and sometimes it's just not our day. You know, there was a few players today that looked a bit flat, and have they been at the races completely? You might have seen a completely different game.
I think that's the thing, though, Pat, isn't it? Sometimes it just might not be a day.
Yeah. As I say, I talk about N'Golo. I mean, N'Golo, he just shocks us every week by being unbelievable every week. And it was hard for him today. He wasn't really getting that as involved in the game. Darren made a great point there, chatting about breaking lines, about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We need people breaking lines, and we do talk about it quite a lot. And today, recently it's been Kova, and recently it's certainly been N'Golo as well. Captain America, he would help us as well when he's fit. Pulisic, when he's fit, he will help us to break those lines. But there was maybe not enough of that happening. But you're right, Ruben's capable of doing that with that role that he's got. He can break lines, and then you ask a lot of different questions. So, Yeah, it's not particularly your day, but I keep on underlining it. I would underline it to people. Don't be knee-jerk about this. Don't panic about it, but particularly don't throw away a 3-5-2. Because I promise you, you tell me 2 other centre-backs that will go and play against Romelu Lukaku and the other and be confident to hold them like that. They won't happen. Arsenal tried a wee bit of that. Look what he done to them. He destroyed them. So, hey, as our old manager used to say to me, don't be psychedelic about it. Be relaxed.
It's so true. It really is, Dan, and that is exactly it, isn't it? You do have to have a little bit of, I suppose, you take a step back, have a look at the bigger picture. The fact that we've not been beaten, we've not been run out of sight or anything like that. We've done a good job today. It's just not been it. And if the game runs for 60, 70 minutes and we're 0-0, the last 20 minutes we play the way we do, everyone talks about being a masterstroke again. Yeah. Sometimes football's like that.
It almost happened. It almost worked for us. I think we assumed City were going to have the bulk of the possession, that they're a pure footballing side, and we kind of wanted to invite them and then punish them for turning that ball over. And it just didn't go. Obviously, that kind of game plan goes out the window as soon as you go one down. But luckily, we can adjust and we did get better. And we could have nicked something. We could have lost by another goal. But it's football, And to be fair, we've lost. I'm upset. I don't like losing. But this isn't as bad as it could be. United lost. It could be far worse. We're still, City have only won and become joint top of us or whatever it is at the moment. So yeah, we're all right. We're all right. We're playing against probably the other standout team in Europe.
No, absolutely right. Like Ben said, the 2 best teams in Europe statistically. Both Champions League final. Reece James did pick up a knock in the first half, which has obviously caused quite a lot of reaction on social media. I hope it's nothing serious. Get well soon, champion. Yeah, absolutely right. We echo that obviously here. Feel bad for Reece James. Get well soon, and this nice one as well. Can't say I'm shocked Reece James has gone off injured after putting him in my team last night. Nathan feels that. I know we all feel that in terms of that. That is, Reece has been such a stand-up performer for us the last 18 months or so, even going back to ever since he's made his debut. But it'd be a big miss if he is injured for a while. You just hope it's nothing too serious.
No, I don't think I think he'll be fine. I think we can relax a little bit about it. He just slightly overextended his ankle, so you hyperextend to to the outside, it really strains it a little bit. But these things don't generally last a long time. He's been very unlucky this season. And the sending off against Liverpool was pretty unlucky. It wasn't deliberate hits off his hand. So, but sometimes seasons happen like that. Fortunately, when we make a change, we can bring on Thiago Silva. It's not bad, is it? It's okay. So, that's kind of relaxed about that. And he's young. His time will come back again, and it won't be a long term. I'm really quite confident about that. But yeah, we hope for the best for him. What we don't want is a whole list of injuries in a row, because, Mason's been out today. Christian Pulisic obviously out today. 2 or 3 injuries can make a little bit of difference. To be honest with us, it needs to be 7 or 8 before it makes a big difference with us. But, certainly we missed his crossing. When you looked at the 1 or 2 opportunities, particularly second half, late in the first half when we got into that area on the right-hand side, we talked about it before the game. That's where we scored a lot of goals. The balls weren't coming in. And Reece is fabulous at that. So we hope he comes back and expected to come back very soon indeed.
Yeah. Absolutely right. So the difference today was Gabriel Jesus' goal in the second half. There's a bit of social media reaction on that as well. Jesus' goal here. Poor goal to concede, deflection or not, that should have been blocked way before Jesus even got the shot away. I suppose that's the thing, Terran, is it's not the prettiest goal to concede. When it takes a big deflection like that, you kind of go, okay, maybe it isn't our day today, because with the amount of times we've seen shots like that take a deflection, it spins out the outside of the post, or even so it just bounces up and it goes into the gloves of Mendy. That's the difference, though, isn't it? Against very good teams, you do create your own luck.
Absolutely, 100% agree. We were all laughing about that. One of the guys across from me, Tyler, literally said, "Oh my God, that is the worst goal to give up," because it's so slow, and Mendy couldn't react to it. We were like, "Yeah, he's dead." As soon as he took the step, half a step left, it was back the other way, and just I've seen so many of those go outside too, as you said, and that's frustrating. Very, very frustrating.
Very, very frustrated. So, something that will cheer us all up, and I've just heard this. There's a stat going around, Dan. Obviously, it's never nice when Chelsea lose, but today's the first time Chelsea and Man United have lost on the same day since New Year's Day 2011.
I'll take it.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
That is a long time. That's a long time, isn't it? And again, they've been terrible in that time. So they've been very poor in that time. I'll get that one in free. But
that's awesome.
It does make it a little bit, like we said, Dan, it's so early in the season still.
Yeah.
There's so much football still to play. Man United dropped points. Liverpool had an identical record to us beforehand, but already, Man City have lost the game. Our knee-jerk reaction today is kind of loosely based on that, which is you can't win the Premier League in September.
Yep.
You genuinely cannot. You can't. You could potentially lose it if you lose all 4 games and you're 12 points off. But it's an old adage, but it's true, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, we don't like losing. But if you're going to lose, then you want the teams around you to lose as well. So United have lost. Let's hope Liverpool drop points. City are the winners so far this weekend, and their win only brings them up to where we are anyway. So it's a long marathon. This. So I think we're fine, especially over the length of the season. We've got a squad that can deal with all of this kind of stuff. We just lost to a very good City side today.
I suppose the worry as well, Pat, and the main thing that we'll take away from here, and Thomas Tuchel won't be too happy, is not a single shot on target today. And when you're at home, that's slightly concerning, I suppose, but it's probably indicative of the way that the game played out in terms of they had a lot more possession, which we were happy with and controlled with. But then, obviously, the flip side of that is when you do go a goal down, you want that number to be a lot higher than...
Yeah, you do, but we've let in 2 goals this season in the league. Let's not panic about it. The other side of it is what Terry was talking about there. They scored a goal with a deflection. Remember Kovacic's shot? It deflects and it just goes slightly to the side. And I'm sure you're nodding the same. You're thinking exactly the same thing, aren't you? Because I just looked at it and thought, yeah, but this went in and ours didn't. That is the margins you're talking at this level. So that's why we don't worry too much about it. Look, it happens. We're not in a bad place, but I was gutted at that moment because Kovac got in a really good position. And we were talking last week about we're getting some players here that are not used to scoring, that are suddenly scoring goals. Kovac scored the other week there, and obviously 1 or 2 players like that will come up from the back. Rudiger comes up from the back, he scores, Thiago Silva as well. But that would have been one that would have been very special. And to be honest, I think that was a better strike. That was a better strike than his. So happy-ish that we have not been hammered. We lost a lot of possession in the first half, but we look like a team that knows how to deal with that. We can accept that sometimes. We also look like a team that thinks, right, OK, plan A's not worked. Plan B, let's see if this can work. And it certainly adapted better, and it nearly got us the point we could have sneaked.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Sarah, the thing is, like Pat said, in terms of don't panic, it's another busy week. Not really got time to sort of lick your wounds and feel sorry for yourself because you've got a massive game against Juventus in midweek. So I suppose that's the focus now for Chelsea is to look at that, and then we go again in the Premier League next Saturday. Games come thick and fast. You've got an immediate time to react, haven't you?
Not really. I'm hoping that we do well against Juventus, as they've been doing so terrible in their own campaign this year. So I'm hoping we perform well, and that's a bounce-back game for us to get us back on track so we can carry on some momentum after this, I guess, disappointing result for today.
And Dan, there are a favourable run of fixtures coming ahead. We've alluded to it, but this was the tough patch. Juventus being the final sort of bookend. No disrespect to Southampton and Norwich, and I think we've got Burnley as well in a couple of weeks as well. But these are teams, these are the tests, and I think in all seriousness, we've learnt a lot from all of the games as an overall. Never mind just today. Yeah, we look like title challengers. We do. We've played Arsenal, we've played Tottenham, we've played City. If I missed anyone, Liverpool. Yeah. We had the toughest start of anyone, and we're joint top. So now with this run of games, if we can. Obviously, on these games aren't played on paper, but if they were, this is where you get the majority of your points. Puts us in a very good position, and all the other teams start playing each other in those weeks as well. So we're good. I think we've set out our stall this season. Everyone knows what we look like. We do look like title challengers. We've just got to make sure we keep focused, keep at the races, keep hungry, and we'll be fine. I think for Man City as well, they go to Liverpool, or they're playing Liverpool next weekend. It's another big test for them. But like Dan said, we've come through those games now. So we've got, I suppose, a more favourable run where now other teams will have looked at us and been able to judge where we're going to be or on that balance of how we perform against the bigger teams. A lot of teams have still got to get those fixtures out of the way. Manchester Derby's only, 6 weeks away, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be taking points off each other. And we hopefully be sitting watching because we'll get the 3 points that we'd expected to get. So, yeah, that's what you want to be. You said, almost alluding to a horse race there. It is a little bit like that. You need to be tucked in. Make sure you're tucked in, you're within striking distance when you get to that part of the season when, you need to go on a real run of games. I think it's going to be needed this season. I think this is one of the seasons, be you Liverpool, be you Man City, be you ourselves. There's going to be a period you're going to have to go 10, 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe even 15 games without defeat, but winning almost all of them. Every one of those teams are capable of doing it. And the one thing you'll do if you're Thomas Tuchel, you walk into that dressing room and say, we start next week, and that's where we can do it. And looking, as we say, at that run of fixtures we've got, we're perfectly capable of doing that. But don't take them lightly. Remember, Southampton gave Man City a little bit of a fright, so don't take them lightly.
No, it's very true. And I suppose that's the thing as well, Terran, is, glamour-ties like today, glamour-ties like Juventus midweek, they're the ones that they're easy to get up for, but this might be a little bit of a sort of rap on the knuckles for the lesser games that are coming up to say, look, we've got a lot of work to do now, we can't get ahead of ourselves and get carried away.
Indeed, I totally agree. I hope that we can actually do well on the Uwe. I'm not so worried about, but coming back into the EPL is definitely where I want us to maybe put our focus, since we haven't done well in that competition, given that we won it last year. So I'm hoping that we can continue that streak of doing well in the EPL, not necessarily putting all focus secondary to Champions League, but hopefully just winning that Premier League so we can get back into that status and that acclaim again.
Completely agree, and you're absolutely right, mate. I think we'll take all 4 or 5. We'll take all 4 or 5. That'll do. That's
Absolutely.
fine. Yeah, we'll do it. Let's have a little look at what's coming up then on the Fifth Stand. It is going to be a busy week, so make sure you join us for all of it across the Fifth Stand. Thomas Tuchel's press conference will be Tuesday afternoon as he looks ahead to the Champions League fixture that we've got, and then Wednesday night 7:25 will be live on Matchday Live, an away trip to Turin to play Juventus. Then Friday afternoon, Thomas Tuchel back again, sat in front of the press ahead of a Premier League fixture against Southampton, and we will be live for that one on Matchday Live at 5 to 2 next Saturday. So make sure you join us for that. That's it now, Dan, isn't it? I suppose that's focus. That'll be the key word that we'll hear a lot over the next 24, 48 hours. Focus, determination, and bounce back. Yeah,
we haven't got enough time to have a hangover of this. It wasn't a bad defeat. Forget about it. Move on. We've got a big game midweek, and then we've got the run of games where we really want to pick up some points. So, I mean, the boys won't be too demoralised, I wouldn't have thought. It's a loss, and they happen. And now we have to just go gun-ho and win all these matches.
It's the thing, Pat, isn't it? We're very spoiled. We don't have this feeling much. We don't taste defeat that often. So when you do, I suppose as a manager or as a coach or as an analyst, you go, now we need to learn from this because this doesn't happen that often, so let's use that as an opportunity.
Again, I've learned quite a few things out of watching it today. I've learned from both coaches their adaptability in different situations which they haven't faced before, because football is ever-changing. So if I've learned a bit, I'm sure Thomas has learned a bit, and the players have learned a bit as well. They've also learned the fact that they're not as if they're miles behind Manchester City, and that's always a good thing as well. There's something they don't need to learn is the fact that, gone. That's it. The game's finished. We'll have a chat about it today. Tonight, fine. There's a game during the week here. I need to flit over to Paris and watch that game first. PSG, then back, do the Juve game. Haven't I got a tough life? But I'm really looking forward to this game against Juventus because, the Champions League, we are looking at this as a competition that we've won. We are the holders. We want to give it a right good go again. So, yeah, we'll lose to Man City. Do you know what? By Monday, ancient history. We've got to look forward. And that's one of the best things about today. There's so many games on, but we can look forward. I'll tell you one other really nice thing. If you're Callum Hudson-Odoi or one of the other lads, you're thinking, right, okay, I've got a chance now. There might be a little bit of a gap. And you have to take that chance when it comes. Even though it's Juve, even though it's away, you have to take that chance when it comes.
Completely agree. Terran, thank you so much for joining us today, mate. I know it's been a very early start, but we really appreciate you coming on. So thank you very much, mate. It's been lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Nice meeting you guys as well, and thank you for having me.
Pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. Pat, brilliant as always. Dan, likewise, mate. Thank you very much, boys. Thank you very much for joining us. It wasn't to be today, but we go again in midweek against Juventus. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.